Hi, this is the first podcast of the Leadership Lab at Loading Dock at Beryl. In our first episode, we're going to be talking about a subject I know is important to each one of us as entrepreneurs and non-entrepreneurs, and that's decision fatigue, the hidden leadership drain. Today, we're going to be talking with Virginia. Virginia's going to expound on the subject for us. Virginia, you recently posted about decision fatigue. Why is this such a critical topic for entrepreneurs?
Hi, everybody. And you're in the middle of it, so you realize that many times the overwhelming situation comes in because there's so many decisions that are being made. Really, more than most professionals, when you're an entrepreneur, you are carrying the weight of your business. And every decision carries financial and relational weight. So it will impact and it will affect your finances and the numbers that you need to hit and the relationships that you need to work on because it takes too much time away from you. So structure is really important. Without structure, the clarity that you need to have in your business is eroded. So truly, no, you do not have a workload problem. You have a decision architecture problem. You need to devote time and focus to be able to have a structure to your decisions.
So maybe you could just spend a couple of minutes telling us what is decision fatigue? How do you define it in the business context? Give us some examples.
Well, it is exhausting when you have so many things coming at you and you are trying to take care of so much. Really, you take care of just about everything. So mentally, it is a great pressure on you when you have to be making those constant choices and the big choices and the little choices and all the choices. So therefore, prioritizing, being able to have, those filters or framework that you're able to work from is extremely important. And then you will have emotional toll when it comes to those calls that are very high stake, that are truly important in your business. So for example, when you're hiring, very important for you to have to surround yourself with the right folks. Pricing, has a lot to do with the relationship you have with your market and your customers. Letting someone go, really important. It goes back to surrounding yourself with the right people. And you have to pivot in your business, especially nowadays. You need to be able to pivot when you need to, and you need to develop that strategy.
You say there are certain signs to look for that you're experiencing decision fatigue. You created a short assessment, I understand, about the warning signs. Can you expand on it and tell us a little bit about delaying decisions, revisiting decisions, emotional reactivity, defaulting to I'll just do it myself, and avoiding strategic thinking time?
Yeah, absolutely. Timing is so important in your business, as I'm sure you know. I do not need to tell you that. So whenever decisions that are important are delayed, or whenever you are revisiting them over and over because there's a lack of confidence, you're overwhelmed, you're reacting emotionally because you are overwhelmed. Okay, it's just weighing heavy on you, and time is of the essence, and sometimes you're rushed. Or defaulting to I'll do it myself, something that I used to do a lot. I learned how to do that. Could be really a huge time and energy killer. And then avoiding a strategic thinking time. A lot of times we're so driven and we just want to do. But before we do effectively, which is the most important thing, we need to be able to devote time to strategic thinking.
Tell us, what is the long-term impact if a leader ignores this, right? They ignore that they're having decision fatigue. When the leader is exhausted, the organization hesitates, you say. Mm-hmm. Tell us more about that.
Absolutely. Huge impact. You may not see it short term, but you will see it long term. And we see this all around us with big companies, with smaller companies, with entrepreneurs. It will delay your rate of being able to scale. It will create a bottleneck in which things are stuck. You could be stuck for a minute there. You're making rash decisions, so you will hire poorly because you do need the manpower, and you haven't given yourself the time to do it correctly, to onboard correctly. Burnout, most definitely. I know that we have a lot of passion, that we think we could do it all, and that we'll make it happen. But if you're doing more than what you're supposed to, what your business calls to, what you owe to your business, and honoring the decision that you made to start this enterprise, you will experience burnout. And team dependency culture is your leadership will suffer, because then the team is the one driving, and you're not. So yes.
So what do you think the solution is? High level, not overgiving. So how do leaders reduce decision fatigue? You introduce frameworks without giving everything away. What does that mean? Tell us a little bit more about this blocking of time, setting decision filters, building a leadership circle.
Well, that is the sweet spot, and maybe the demanding spot, and maybe the hard calling of being a leader. Operational, you could get really lost in the operations of a business, but your strategy is extremely important. That dictates where it is that you're taking yourself and your people to. The thresholds are really important for you to be able to either scale back or analyze or pivot. You need to know and see how well your people are performing. Set decision filters. You need to check and see how things are working. So this is why you have certain parameters, and you're able to then go back and analyze. And I know that sometimes the temptation is to just keep going. It's more or less, it's working okay, not excellent, not exactly, but we're moving. Well, you need to be able to filter that and see and take it to where it needs to go. Block thinking time goes back to the strategy, and build a leadership circle. You raise people up with you. As you become a better leader, you need to be able to raise others with you.
If someone listening right now is feeling overwhelmed, what should they do this week to make a difference?
Well, lists are very important, as much as sometimes I try to avoid them, but lists are very important. You list every decision you make today. Then you ask, which of these should I never be making again? Really important. It sounds simple, but it will have a tremendous impact on where you take your business.
It all ties in with the idea of delegating, utilizing the people that you bring on your team, bringing the right people on your team, so that you're able to not just delegate, but then leave it in their hands, right? Giving them ownership so that they can run with that. Something else you mentioned too was rating your decisions. So there's some decisions that maybe you shouldn't be making at all because they can be made by somebody else.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate all that you shared today. I'm sure that our listeners will get a lot out of this. We welcome you to come join the conversation each week on Wednesdays at 1 o'clock p.m. to 2 p.m. at the loading dock, and we look forward to seeing you at the Leadership Lab. My name is John Boone. I appreciate you joining us today. Thank you, Virginia.
Bye.